Hey everyone, this is episode 67 of the Daily BE. If you've noticed, the last couple episodes I've been wearing a new sport coat. Unfortunately, it's not mine, it's my brother's. I happen to have it from an event that we did last week, and I just ended up taking it home, and he hasn't asked for it back yet. So I don't know how much longer I have it, and I want to kind of use it as much as I can, obviously. Now, Brett and I are very, very close in size and fit. A little bit different in style, but in fit we're pretty darn close. And so that's why I'm even wearing this in the first place, because it was good on me. But this sport coat, I don't have anything personally that is a brown or a plaid. And I thought, let's break this thing down. Let's kind of go through the different little bits and pieces that make it such a cool coat. And all with the intention of hopefully giving you a little bit more to go on when you're building your own jacket or your own suit. And this really is a very, very cool sport coat. I love it. I think it's great for spring. Brown is real popular, and even in GQ for spring, you see a lot of different shades of brown. And there's a time when brown was very kind of reserved for like middle management, and it had kind of a boring connotation to it. But today, it's really coming back. And of course, when you have a little bit of blue in it, you have a lot of color. A great option for spring. That can be really versatile. So, without further ado, let's take it on over to the table and kind of start going through what makes this coat so awesome. Alright, so right off the bat, you notice that this is a very bold, really fun fabric. The blue plaid here is just really striking, really is something you're going to notice. And just wearing it yesterday when I was out and about, I had two compliments before I really went anywhere. One before leaving the building, and another at the grocery store when I was kind of buying some snacks for a photo shoot I was going to. This coat is really eye-catching. And it's really because, one, you don't see brown very often, and you certainly don't see it done well like this coat. So if you're kind of new to plaid, this may seem a little too far out there for you, or there's plenty of options to kind of get into it slowly. There's plenty of fabrics you can find that maybe aren't as bright of a blue, or maybe a little bit more subdued, and a lot of options out there. Regardless, very cool fabric design. And this fabric too, as far as our business, is one of our higher end fabrics. And it's really tough to show. It's something that when you have a chance to wear something very high quality, you'll understand what I mean, where it feels much more like pajamas than anything else. Thereby reinforcing the idea that suiting and wearing a sport coat or a blazer can be really comfortable. So, before we go inside, I guess we have an accent buttonhole to kind of complement the rest of the blue, and a peaked lapel, relatively narrow. Brett likes to go a little bit narrow on his lapels. I tend to go a little bit wider, but that's his thing. And I keep getting ahead of myself. We have a ticket pocket, if you recall from our last episode, and flat pockets. Now on the sleeve, again, we have another accent buttonhole that kind of matches the one on the lapel. And of course, it is working buttonholes, because why the heck not? Alright, now let's go inside. So right off the bat, you see there is no liner. We have a little bit up here, but really that's just over the shoulders. This is an unstructured coat, so there's no lining here, and no canvas construction. Now, you can get away with that when you have a very fine quality fabric like this, and you can tell that when I was wearing it, or maybe I hope you could, that it has a really nice drape to it when I'm wearing the coat. And sometimes without that liner and that full canvas construction, you'll kind of have some drape issues, meaning it just won't hang very well. But with a very, very good fabric and very, very good fit, you can get away without that. So what that means on a practical sense is that this coat is super, super breathable. Brett can wear this, and maybe I can wear this throughout really every season. It's going to be great for summertime, even though it's not a real breathable fabric. It's still going to be open enough that you can get away with it. And then certainly for springtime, it's just absolutely perfect. And because of the color scheme being in brown, you could even use this throughout the fall season, in the fall months. So what else do we have? We have the way that we make our suits is we have a little bit of the piping. That's what this is. And the lining material that kind of goes down the seams, just kind of gives a cool overall look. And this is a center vent, meaning there's just one vent at the back of the coat, as opposed to having one on either side. which is kind of more of a British look. And let's see, we have our normal pockets on the inside. We have Brett's name because it's custom for him, our label of course, and that's about it. That is kind of a quick overview of what makes this coat really special. I think the big takeaways here is that one, it's unstructured, or no liner, no lining inside, and so it's going to be a really comfortable coat, and in a very fine fabric. The peaked lapel, this coat can carry a range of occasions. You can get really formal with it. You could go to well, obviously not like a black tie event, but let's say Kentucky Derby coming around the corner. If you're in a semi-cooler climate and you don't want to go with something like seersucker, this is a really fun coat, very dressy. Again, that drape and that hang, because of the quality of the fabric, is just very excellent. And little details like the peaked lapel and working buttonholes, and of course pick stitching, which on this one is pretty subtle, partly because of the color. But you have a lot of components that make a custom suit so wonderful. And that blue, again, is just a real big draw. Very cool and fun fabric, I think. So give that some thought. Let me know what you think. You guys like this coat? Do you not like it? Do you wear plaid? If so, why or why not? And let's start the conversation. All right, thanks guys for watching. We'll be back tomorrow.